we actually, about 2 weeks ago, after the signed management agreement, we began our employee meetings. We actually conducted 4 of them to review all of the application process and the benefits. So I'm just going to walk you through a little bit of the information that we shared with the staff. We'll start, and that's where we'll begin. Basically, what we did is we took the management agreement and we're putting it into operation. And one of the things that we explained is the North Carolina state application. We talked with staff about the application process and how that would work. Rhonda and Misty have done an excellent job in helping staff get their previous applications and are pulling all of that together for them to make this application process as simple as possible for the staff going forward. So that is moving very smoothly. The position postings, this is one of the dates that we were able to give the staff to give them concrete information that according to the management agreement, all of our positions needed to be posted by July 24th. We are hoping that we will be able to do that prior to that date, but that is the outside date, so that staff will have a full picture of what the organization looks like at that point. One of the things that Smoky Mountain Center did during the waiver transition for us, when we had to redesign what our departments would look like in the waiver world, we completed all of the organization charts and then we published them so that staff would be able to see what the organization looks like. And we are working toward that same goal with this transition so that we will be able to publish the organization charts so that all staff will be able to see the boxes, be able to begin identifying where they picture themselves in the new organization. The other firm deadline is that all positions have to be hired by October 1st. So all of the transition of the staff will be complete by September 30th. So staff can absolutely plan on that is a definite. We will begin, once we begin posting positions, we will do the interview process. We'll do the interviews here, and we're going to streamline that process so that it can happen here, and that there will be chunks of days so that it's not spread out over weeks. So care coordination, for example, it's a large department. We would do the interviewing probably over a course of 2 or 3 days so that we would be able to get answers back to staff as quickly as possible. Then we will begin issuing letters of appointment with established start dates. So even if a position is not going to transfer until October 1st, the staff will have the letter in hand indicating to them what their start date is so that they can be assured that they have a position. The employment status, we had a lot of discussion about how would we handle employment status. Under 122C, we are allowed, or 126, which is the Office of State Personnel. It allows us to, because we are local government, we can bring staff on in a probationary period. We have, as you know, as part of the management agreement, is that we will not bring staff on, and they will not serve a probationary period if they are already in permanent or career status. So whatever status they currently enjoy with Western Highlands is how they would come on board with Smoky Mountain Center.
What is the length of the probationary period?
Our probationary period is 9 months. But they will not have to go through that. Okay. Then we talked a great deal in detail about benefits. We also gave them a handout, and there is a handout in your packet, and we have a replacement for you. I apologize, the file I sent to Sonia, she didn't realize, but it is corrupted, and I just realized that it didn't print out completely. So we have the complete handout that we will give you. But we went over the health and dental plans in detail, and we have been able to talk with our carriers and secure that there will be no waiting period for the employees of Western Highlands as they come on board. So as their insurance ends at the end of the month, whichever, depending upon when their hire date is, they will automatically on the next day go on to our plan. So there is no waiting period. A couple of new benefits, actually a little more than a couple, that Western Highlands staff do not currently have. We offer a long-term disability plan that is paid by the employer. It is a 180-day waiting period, and all employees are eligible for this plan. We also offer a life and accidental death policy up to $50,000. This is in addition to the North Carolina retirement benefit up to $50,000 of salary. We also offer colonial products, which is supplemental insurance. We offer, there are 5 different plans that range from cancer plans, accident plans, to medical bridge, to short-term disability that the staff would be eligible for. We have the same 401k plan with Prudential that Western Highlands currently offers. However, how we match it is different. Western Highlands currently does a 3% annual contribution. We actually do require that our employees contribute, and whenever our employees contribute, we will match up to 5% of what they contribute of their salary. So this is actually a phenomenal benefit in the private sector. If you're able to get 2 or 2.5% match, it's pretty amazing. So 5% is very generous. The other benefit that we have is a length of service pay. And how this plan works is once you have been an employee with Smoky Mountain Center for 2 years, you are eligible for what we call length of service bonus. And you receive it in a lump sum on an annual basis. And based on your length of service, it increases it begins at 2.5% at 2 years and goes up to a maximum of 6% of your salary in a lump sum payment. As I said, the waiting period at Smoky Mountain Center is 2 years, and we have reduced that waiting period for Western Highlands staff to 1 year. So if all of the staff would come on say on October 1st, then October 1st of 2014, in the month following, in their paycheck, they will receive this bonus based on their length of service. In calculating the length of service, we will include the years of service that they had here at Western Highlands. So if they have been a Western Highlands employee for 9 years, we will include the 1 year with Smoky Mountain Center, and they will accrue at the 10-year range for this. Annual and sick leave. The Western Highlands staff will be able to transfer 100% of their leave banks for annual leave and sick leave, and there is no waiting period to be able to use or access those banks. One of the policies that Smoky has is that any employee who has previous North Carolina state or local government experience, that is counted in regard to their accrual rate for leave time. So if an employee, and this is one of the things that I explained to staff, the advantage of the application process, because Office of State Personnel does require that we have an attestation for the years that people have worked. If we have a Western Highlands employee who has worked here for 9 years, and they worked at Blue Ridge before that for, I'm going to make this simple because math on my feet is always a dangerous thing. Let's say they worked for Blue Ridge for 1 year. We're up to 10 years. Before that, they were with DSS for 10 years. So now we have 20 years. So this employee can demonstrate that they've been in North Carolina state or local government for 20 years. They will accrue their annual leave as if they have been a 20-year employee with Smoky Mountain Center. So a lot of your employees will accrue at a very high level at Smoky Mountain Center, which is a big benefit. A couple things since then. In regard to communication, Rhonda and I have done several email communications to staff, letting them know where we are in the process. And talking about the organization charts and all of that and bringing it out. You had asked earlier about the total number of positions. We've been very careful about publishing a number until we really know, because everyone can add, and we don't want to increase employees' anxiety thinking, well, if there's only this many positions, then that means we're 4 short or we're 5 short. So we're really trying to avoid that until we know for sure exactly what the positions are so that we don't increase anxiety. We have published an information bulletin that we shared with them during those employee meetings. And Rhonda and I have also done a lot of personal touch, a lot of walking around, talking with people, talking one-on-one, talking in small groups in order to be able to answer questions and alleviate concerns. And we really encouraged employees, please don't ruminate, please don't be upset. You don't have to do this by yourselves. We will be glad to talk with you and share as much information as we can with you. We are in the process of our next stage is we're meeting with all of the work group chairs to go over the staffing and to finalize the organization charts so that we can take them to executive steering committee for final approval so that we can publish them. And we're working on the communication plan on how we will do that for staff. And lastly, the other area that Rhonda and I have been working on with work group chairs, you've heard a little bit about it in finance and information services today, as we're working on a plan on how we will address the closeout staff going forward to make sure that we can retain a stable group during that process. Any questions?
Any questions for me?
How are the staff at the Smoky side of the equation doing?
I would say that their anxiety level is probably not as extreme, but they are concerned too. They're wondering about locations. They're wondering what the org charts are going to look like. They're wondering what our structure will look like going forward. In our staff meeting this last Wednesday, Brian spent a great deal of time addressing those issues.
A lot of the answer was we don't know. And I feel very happy that we can say that to people and they believe it. Because it's just as Nancy is saying, I mean, the worst thing you can do is overpromise or get ahead of things. As much as you want to reassure people, and of course we do. And as Nancy said, a lot of this has been kind of that one-on-one personal touch. But, when you don't know, you have to say you don't know. And that's really kind of where a lot of this is at. But in appreciation, that's very sensitive for folks. So we do our best with that.
Thank you for asking about them.
Any other questions? Thank you.